Thank you for joining us. Now, let's make sense of these stories. We have our guest joins us now, Mr. Gamaliel Tanimomo, as a business analyst. He joins us now. Thank you for joining us. Good morning. Good to see you again, Gamaliel.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Oh, I'm very well. So it's good to see you again. So let's get started straight away. What do you think is the implication of this? But first, maybe I should ask you, what came to mind when you saw the fact that the naira has been allowed to operate in a free float market? So you have the naira falling to around 664 after the unification of the exchange rate. Talk to us about this.
Okay, so once again, thank you for having me and good morning to our listeners. I'm excited that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is walking the talk. So beyond the fact that he has said he will do these things, he's followed up with corresponding action. And even before now, the suspension of the former CBN governor to a large extent has shaped perception of or about the Nigerian financial system. We all agree that there has been a dichotomy between our physical and our monetary policies. Our Euro bonds chopped up immediately that suspension was announced. So now that he has gone a step further to say that there's going to be a single window, I'm sure that it is going to have both short-term and long-term consequences. But I think it is one of the best things that will ever happen to us as a country, as we see how events unfold in the days ahead. Because for me, number one is that there will likely be a significant increase in government debt in naira terms. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Number two is that the debt to GDP ratio will increase, and speculatively to about additional 5%. What that will also mean is that government revenue will increase in naira terms, resulting in a high tax revenue to GDP ratio as well. We might likely experience some cost saving as government will discontinue with the various FX intervention, which we know has put further pressure on the naira. So I think this is a welcome development, but then again, it is not going to be a walk in the park. There's going to be a lot of market forces that will react to this forces of demand and supply, etc., etc. But the days ahead are interesting.
But the immediate impact is that if you're paying, for instance, a tuition fee abroad, for instance, if you're paying 1.5 million naira, be ready to pay above 2 million naira now because of the current development. So do you think that, this, of course, is something we need to also factor as impact of the unification of this exchange rate in the immediate effect? So how that a market is going to react to this immediate effect. That's one. Secondly, is that, people talked about the fact that this is coming after the suspension of the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele. And so we're saying that perhaps the duty, or let's say the bulk of the responsibility, in terms of to regulate the policy tools around monetary tools, is not particularly or largely dependent on the CBN, because the CBN governor may not be able to do carry out some of these policies independently without carrying along the president of the sitting president of the day. So can we also bring the former president into the picture, that what has the former president been doing perhaps is also the former president is also culpable of the corruption that was recorded in the financial sector, especially spearheaded by the Apex Bank. So what's your position on this assertion?
Okay, so addressing the first issue, up until now I paid 1.5, I'm going to pay 2 million. I think I'd better deal with that than having to deal with a dollar constraint on my neck. I'd rather the naira, there's pressure on the naira by way of reverse engineering than the dollar putting pressure on the naira. I mean, it's crazy, my brother. You can see how a lot of people have profited from this parallel market, throwing the entire economy into distress, capital flights, and yet, just like the subsidy, just a few people are profiting from this anomaly. That's number one. Number two, I agree that the CBN governor cannot act in isolation, which why my heart is palpitating. I need to know and await the president's cabinet, his minister of trade and finance, his minister of industry, his CBN governor, his policy team. I need to know because again, there must be a congruence and an handshake between our monetary policies and our physical policies. Not previously when the former minister of finance will be at loggerheads with the CBN governor, washing their dirty linen in the public. It doesn't even come out as if we have structures and systems in governance. Having said that, I agree that the president is culpable, but we can't do so. So the president, permit my choice of words, wasn't actually in charge. He just left it to the whims and caprices of a few. So the president wasn't in charge of this economy. It was just a handful of people who managed the economy, and they managed.
You're talking about the former president now.
Yeah, the former president.
Okay, yeah. It's all right. Go ahead, please.
So they managed it. Please hold on. They managed it to the detriment of a general populace and to the benefit of a minority. So that is the sad part. But with President Tinubu, I think the story is changing gradually. Let's see how it goes.
Okay, it's all right. So, however, I mean, there are impact of this development. For instance, Nigeria's public debt increased from 73 trillion naira. That's talking about second story now. 22 trillion naira after the unification of the exchange rate. If you look at that, the Central Bank of Nigeria, after issuing that press conference, we saw that that amount has jumped from 73 to 82 trillion naira. That's the implication of this. But again, can we begin to talk about how to address the pressure of servicing these loans?
Okay, so again, there's something we call cost and pull. There's a law of cause and effect. So there's no way we will have the naira floating against the dollar, and then we won't have this surge, as it were. So we can't eat our cake and have it. China, Russia are already fighting against dollarization. I don't know if you understand my concept. So a lot of countries are empowering their currencies, the yuan and everything, because again, we need to grow our exports. We need to be less dependent on import. So again, maybe it's just also tilting towards the Dangote refinery. Look at how much we spent in terms of monetary terms from that Dangote refinery. So for me, I think we are playing a chess game, and everything seems to be adding up one piece at a time. So let us be patient with the president, and let's see how all of these things will add up in the days ahead. It's going to be interesting, and I'm sure that Nigerians will be better for it.